Nexxlegacy.
Fenty Beauty by Rihanna was created with the promise of inclusion for everyone, with an unmatched offering of shades and colors for all skin tones. You'll never look elsewhere for your beauty staples. Danaya Azure Radio is now sponsored by Fenty Beauty. Browse their foundation line, lip colors, and so much more. All you have to do is go to www.danayaazure.com. That's www.danayaazure.com. And click on the link that says Nexxlegacy Fenty.
Nexxlegacy.
My name is Will, and you're tuning in to Danaya Azure Radio.
Well, what is going on, sir? Oh my goodness, it's been way too long. How have you been?
I've been incredibly busy, but good. Stressed out, busy, trying to make sense of my crazy life. So
I originally met Will when he was doing some really phenomenal shows for the Rainbow community out and it was on the north side, and he had a showcase. And so he goes by so many different names. Go ahead and roll down what's your city.
Yeah, so when I do music, I go by the name Boys versus Girls, and then I have a brand that's mainly about like alternative music and alternative culture, and then I go by my emo diaries. And when I'm writing books, I go by my name, William Ramsey. It's very confusing. I am trying to make it a cohesive experience. So,
I legit was like, okay, well, what I call you? Because I just want to make sure I get it right.
It's just so much happening. I don't know why I did that to myself. So.
So tell everybody, how did you originally get into music?
I mean, it started when I was a child. Like, I don't really have a memory where music was not a part of my life, because like I grew up in a household where there's always music around and just art in general. So like I don't really, just forever, I guess.
So what was the first song that you ever wrote, if you can remember?
Oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. I always remember this song because it was so beyond stupid, and I just don't even know what I was talking about. I was like 7 years old, and I wrote an R&B song called Ice Cream Girls with the Ice Cream Curls. I literally have yes. I literally have no idea what ice cream girls were and what ice cream curls meant. To this day, I still have literally no idea. But I wrote that song very proudly when I was 7 years old. It's very embarrassing.
So what is the very first song that ever went viral for you, and what was it about?
The very first song that went viral. I want to say Fell in Love with a Ghost, but I do feel like I had another song, like a song that like I deleted like many, many years ago, but I'll just say Fell in Love with a Ghost. And that was I wrote that during the pandemic. It was about the pandemic, and it was starting to blow up in the pandemic. So it was, and that song has like 250,000 streams across platforms at this point. It's still my most popular song, and it's still probably a song that like gets people very energetic whenever I perform it live. So Fell in Love with the Ghosts.
Definitely. So if you had to describe your music, what genre would you put yourself in?
Alternative, sad boy, hip hop, pop music. Like it's like, because I am technically rapping, sort of,
right,
but not really. And there's like a lot of guitars in my music, but also like a lot of production that is like more that's more leaning towards hip hop. So it's like a mixture of like really alternative music and hip hop and emo music and pop music. And because like I grew up listening to so many different styles that I knew that I would never want to just create like one thing. Clearly I have 3 different fucking names. I don't know if I can swear.
You're good. Yeah, you're good.
Um, yeah, so it's like alternative sad boy hip hop pop music.
So talk about some of the challenges that you've had to overcome and what has helped you to be able to overcome them.
In terms of like being an artist, you mean?
In terms of being an artist, yes.
Oh gosh, we could be here literally for 3 hours. I think the first thing I needed to overcome was my mindset. I had I struggled with a lot of low self-esteem, and I had a lot of self-doubt. So for me, I needed to master my own mind. I needed to understand that my art was important, and what I had to say was important, and that there were people on the other end waiting for that. So that was like the first thing I really needed to focus on was that. And then like, the classic case of most artists, money. Like I feel like that is just like such a massive hurdle. I got sort of lucky in some ways because like as far as the money situation, during the pandemic, I was like very into cryptocurrency and and I made a nice chunk of change from that. So I used that to kind of help me to like pay for marketing and stuff like that.
Right. So before you full disclosure, this like so even though he did something in crypto, do not trust everyone who says that. We can trust.
Oh yeah. I'm not a financial advisor.
Do not trust everyone who says that. I think that I want to make sure that people say that. They're like, no. Everybody's not had that success. Well, yeah. It's a special case.
Pretty much, yeah. I got it. Like it was like because I'm a psychopath, so it's like I always tell people, don't use me as an example ever because like I'm just on a level of just pure craziness and determination where I'm like most people probably would not do the things that I would do to get successful. So I'm just like, don't take my advice. But that did help me a lot, and also finding what was lacking or what I felt was lacking in the scene or community that I was a part of. I felt like there was a lack of diversity within the scene, at least that I was a part of. And I felt like, I could probably, supply a service or a need that really wasn't being met. So that's one of the things that really helped me is understanding your kind of like unique selling point that kind of sets you apart.
Absolutely. Definitely talk about what it meant to be able to produce those showcases that were predominantly for the rainbow community, but the rainbow community of color on the north side.
Yeah, I felt honestly, so like I am very much a punk rock kid. I very much come from that world and I love that world and I believe in a lot of those ideas. So for me, it felt very punk to do those kind of shows, these kind of very queer shows, but these queer shows that are black and brown on the north side, which is notorious for having people who do not look like us. Mm-hmm. Even though interestingly enough, these are usually the same people who claim they're the most like liberal or progressive or whatever, but mm-hmm. Then they're across the street when they see us. But anyhow, I thought, I don't know how controversial I can be on this show, but
you're good. You're good.
Yeah, like it felt like a very punk rock moment because I'm like, I was frustrated that I was a part of a scene that kept saying, oh, we need to have more diversity. We need to have blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why aren't you guys doing it? And so it got to the point where I was just like, I'm just going to do it myself. And, I didn't know, honestly, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Like that was the first show I'd ever produced. And I really didn't know what to expect. I just kept telling myself, make the kind of show that you would want to go to, like make a party you would want to go to. And so, that's kind of what I did. I just reached out to a bunch of people. So a lot of these people I didn't even know who they like. I never even met them like in person. Some of them just literally looked cool. I didn't even listen to their music. I just like, oh, okay, you're booked. I like your clothes or whatever. But yeah, it was a really cool. It was definitely a moment. It definitely felt like it was a genuine movement, and it felt like it was something important at that time, on the north side at least.
And here's the biggest thing that he's leaving out. These shows were booked to the fact of they were wall to wall standing room. There was one point that I almost didn't get into one of the shows.
Yeah.
Like they were packed out.
They were.
Came out every single time, and that is not an easy feat to do, especially in Chicago because it's cold. So
Yeah.
you're able to get people out their beds and out there supporting music and poetry, and particularly music and poetry with people of color was just amazing.
It was fun. Like I feel like I really. Like, it definitely got to a point where I realized I was doing something special. And I also realized that, and this is going to sound kind of arrogant, but even now, honestly, I don't really think there was any shows, at least in Chicago, that was quite like that. Even now when I've gone to shows, it's like, it doesn't have, I've seen people try to kind of like duplicate that, but not successfully.
The thing about any kind of production is it's about the energy behind it. It's about the person that's producing it. It's about the love that you were showing to everyone. And I think the biggest thing that we have when it comes to Chicago is that a lot of artists want to go do their set and leave. Everybody stayed. That was a big thing that I noticed with your shows. Is everybody we shut the place down on so many occasions. They're like, okay, I got to go home now. Like, okay, it's 2 a.m. Like, y'all have to leave. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, because like that's the thing I never understood with artists. They'd be like, "Oh, support artists," but then like you leave during someone's set, it just like it gives very like fake sincerity, and I just don't really like that.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think the energy was just like very be yourself, because that's just like really it was just like my own philosophy towards life, and my playlists usually is like all these different genres and sounds, and I like all different types of people. So I'm like, I don't want a party where it's only just one thing or one kind of person or one type of background. I think that's what resonated with a lot of people. It was a genuine sense of community at that time.
Yes, absolutely. And Will is my guest here on Danaya Azure Radio. So you've gone viral a couple of times on TikTok. With what?
A lot of times.
Which brand is this?
For my emo diaries. Yeah.
So how did For My Emo Diaries even come to be?
Yeah, so that's quite the story too. So also during the pandemic, something about the pandemic, I just like focused as hell when it came to like artistic stuff. So I decided, this was like my 9th TikTok account. I like failed on TikTok multiple times.
Did you say 9th?
Yeah, this is like my 9th. Yeah, I was just like, all right, I'm going to try this one last time. And so like the way that it started out, I was producing not shows, but parties where I was like where I would DJ and I would play like alternative music. And I said, well, let me make a brand for this. And it just like worked almost immediately. Like I remember the 3rd day that the account existed, I went viral the first time. I was like only after day 3, and I was just like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Which I have some theories of why I think it has worked out, which we can get into. But yeah, it started in like 2022, towards the end of 2022, and it started out doing parties, kind of like when I did with the Pride Takeover.
Right.
And then it just kind of took a life of its own and kind of just branched out into me writing books about this subculture that, you know, I grew up on and that I really do love a lot, and I still love a lot. And I mean, it's quite literally is slowly changing my life right now. So it's been really crazy. So
what do you think that it is that makes people gravitate so much to that specific account?
I think a lot of people find it interesting that I am Black talking about punk rock music. I think people find interesting that I'm Black and queer talking about punk rock music. And I think, again, this is going to sound arrogant, but I am very good with words. I'm very good with communicating, and I know how to communicate my ideas effectively. And I think people gravitate towards that. I'm just giving my genuine thoughts on, again, this music that really helped shape me and this music that like influenced a lot of my own work. And I've been writing my whole life. A lot of people think that, I know a lot of people who assume that I just got into writing somehow. I'm like, I've been writing as long as I've been making music. Like, I was just a weird kid. I would just like, all I would do is like create art. Like, that's all I did. And now I'm doing the same thing, except I'm getting paid for it. So, so I think that's why. Yeah, I think people just gravitate towards the contradiction of like, oh, this Black queer guy talking about this music that usually is not associated with someone like that. And people are drawn to contradictions. So
how old were you when you came out, and what inspired you to finally do so?
When I came out, I want to say, I think I was 23, if I'm not mistaken. I think so.
So you were way out of college at that point.
Oh yeah. I grew up like I said, I have a very interesting upbringing, but so it took a little while to get there. I come from a very, very, very religious background, and so I don't know if something inspired it necessarily. It was more like a necessity that I knew that if I did not come out, I would have killed myself, like quite literally. Like I remember the year that I came out, leading up to that, I was thinking about suicide almost every single day. And it got to the point where I was just like comfortable with being like, all right, this is how this ends. And then one day I just like, screw this. It's like, I'm just going to be myself. And it's so weird because like, once you come out, like as the years go by, you forget that you came out. And so like that feeling of that fear and all those initial, that initial anxiety, it's no longer there. So you forget. And then you see some kid who's younger than you and they're going through that process. You're like, oh yeah, I forgot that's how that feels. So for me, it was more like I needed to come out in order for me to still be alive. Otherwise, I knew that you and I probably would not be having this conversation, to be quite frank.
And the reason I'm asking, because mind you, he didn't know the question I was going to ask him before I came on, but I wanted to make sure that this is an authentic interview. And I think the biggest thing for me, especially with the climate that we have and people trying to have to go back in the closet all of a sudden, like it was just insane to me, is that I wanted him to explain, like, because that right there was what launched everything else.
Literally, yeah. That was like, it really was this death and rebirth thing, because I literally became a different person after that. Like I quite literally, like it allowed me to have self-esteem and confidence really for the first time in my life. And yeah, like you said, it literally led to everything, that one decision. So
exactly, because I know, like for me, one of my cousins just transitioned last year, female to male, and and our family is incredibly conservative, so that was interesting.
Yeah.
But and watching the transition, which online was just super dope to be able to see that. And yeah. I think a lot of people forget that, like, a lot of people don't have that family that's supportive. So what is your advice for a young high school kid that wants to come out but is too scared? What is your advice to how to help them to be more comfortable in doing so?
Oh, that's a good one. That's the difficult one, because like everything is context. If you feel you have a good support system, a good family support system, then maybe you should come out. If you don't, it's very interesting, because I feel one thing I've learned, because my mom did not take it well when I came out. She did not at all. Like, she had a very negative reaction. My father was the opposite, which was bizarre, because usually you would think it would be the other way around.
Right.
One thing I've learned, though, is that you have to have patience with your family, because sometimes people do come around. Sometimes it's a lot for someone to process, especially if someone has a particular worldview, and you're kind of like shatter that they're not going to like change immediately. So you have to be a bit patient, but also be patient with yourself. There is no right way necessarily to come out because it's such a unique, personal, individual thing. But I would say the sooner you do it, the better off I think you'll be, because the risk that you can take by just constantly holding this in, first of all, it can destroy your self-esteem. Second of all, you don't want to get yourself in a situation where you're starting to live like a double life. Because I used to do that, and it's very stressful. It's very stressful. So I would just say, honestly, be patient with yourself, be compassionate with yourself, and try to be patient with the people around you who may not understand you, and they may not understand that, you know, this is not a choice. Sexuality is not, no one wakes up and chooses, I'm going to be attracted to.
Hold on, wait, I'm sorry. Can you say that for the people in the back? Sexuality
yes.
is not a choice?
Sexuality is not a choice. No one wakes up and chooses, oh, I'm going to be attracted to this person. Or like, you know, I said that one time to a straight guy. I was like, well, when did you choose to be straight? It's just like, oh, well, he's like, exactly. Like, that's not how sexuality works.
Right.
So.
and it's so crazy that people are literally trying to argue that. I'm like, no, that's not how, that's not how this works. Why?
That's literally not how it works. Yeah. And the weird obsession that some people have with other people's sexuality, I've always found very bizarre.
That part.
It's giving very like, do you want to be on this side?
Right. Well, technically, I mean, I'm just saying the RNC did shut down Grindr, so there's that part.
Oh, yes. I've met quite a few people like that, so yeah.
No, definitely, and I think, and I want to say publicly, thank you for everything that you have done, because one thing that I saw every single time it came to one of your events was the joy that was there. There are very few events that you can go to that have people that are that diverse, and especially that have a lot of people of color, and there are no issues. It was literally just beautiful energy, great time, great music, people showing love to each other. We never had to call the cops, nothing like that. Like you made sure that there was an environment that was about love, respect, and music. And I want to say thank you for that, because like you said, it is very rare to have people from the rainbow community, especially people of color, being accepted up north when it comes to events.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Like I said, I really, it's only in hindsight now that I do realize, like, oh, maybe I did make a difference in some way. But no, thank you. I really do appreciate that. I was just creating a type of environment that I wanted to be in. So it was not like this master plan or anything. It was just like, it really was just like, oh, I just want to throw a cool party, and just kind of became that. So
yes. So what do you have coming up next?
Yeah, so next I am 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm working on 4 books. I am almost finished with one of them. Hopefully by the end of this week, actually, I should be done with that. And then I have 3 more. The last book is going to be a book and an album. I'm going to be returning with Boys versus Girls.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's going to be a graphic novel, and it's going to be an album as well. It's very like anime inspired, because like it's basically like all the things that Boys versus Girls always was, and I finally like figured out how to channel all these things into one thing.
Yes.
Yeah, but honestly, just writing books, because honestly, it's paying the bills, and it's it's been a lot of fun, and yeah, just honestly, just creating. That's pretty much it.
I love it. Will is amazing. He keeps doing phenomenal things. So go ahead and tell everybody where they can. Actually, no, before we do that, when everything is said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
That I inspire people to be their authentic self. That's it. I just want to inspire people to choose to live and choose to live in an honest way, in an unapologetic way, in a way that's sincere and not being afraid. Because I wasted so much of my life being afraid. So I hope to inspire people to be authentically themselves.
Absolutely. Go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, follow you, and most importantly, book you.
Yes. Yes. You can follow my mini accounts. You can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at my emo diaries. You can also follow my music account on Instagram at Boys versus Girls. And the book, if you want to book me for anything, my booking information is on those accounts. But yeah, my emo diaries or Boys versus Girls, whichever one. It's basically one and the same at this point. So yeah, hit me up. Hit me up.
Yes, make sure you guys hit him up. Will is just such an amazing person, and I cannot wait to see how many more things that you're doing, how many more people you're inspiring. I am so incredibly proud of you.
Thank you. Really appreciate you. You're super awesome. And honestly, it's just been really nice to talk to you. It's been a very long time. So
it's definitely been too long. But yeah, Chef Chess, thank you for coming on.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And everyone continue to express what makes you unique.
East Coast, say what? Can y'all really feel me? Feel me? East Coast, feel me? Feel me? West Coast, feel me? Feel me? Dirty South of the dirty, dirty. Can y'all really feel me? East Coast, feel me? West Coast. Well, I'm in love with a ghost, and don't tell my mama that I'm falling off the deep end. I share my darkest secrets, tell it to my dead friends, and I would rather fall asleep than watch it all end. Yeah, I'm in love with a ghost, and don't tell my mama that I'm falling off the deep end. I share my darkest secrets, tell it to my dead friends, and I would rather fall asleep than watch it all end. Yeah, I was just feeling so down, yeah. I was just feeling so down, yeah. Woke out a bit like around 12. Woke out a bit like around 12. I do not know what today is. I do not know what today is. Monday and Friday the same thing. How should I know what today is? Feeling like alien 2. Feeling like animal locked in a zoo. I'm talking to God. I do not know what they want me to do. I was just feeling myself. I was just thinking of killing myself. Can I just be you or somebody else? Oh, bitch, please. I'm in love with a ghost, and don't tell my mama that I'm falling off the deep end. I share my darkest secrets, tell it to my dead friends, and I would rather fall asleep than watch it all end. Yeah, I'm in love with a ghost, and don't tell my mama that I'm falling off the deep end. I share my darkest secrets, tell it to my dead friends, and I would rather fall asleep than watch it all end. Yeah. We keep it icy cool, yeah, ayy, y'all. We keep it icy cool, yeah, ayy, oh yeah. We keep it icy cool, yeah, ayy, yeah. I'm in love with a ghost, and don't tell my mama that I'm falling off the deep end. I share my darkest secrets, tell it to my dead friends, and I would rather fall asleep. Yeah. I'm in love with a ghost, yeah. Don't tell my mama that I'm falling off the deep end. I share my darkest secrets, tell it to my dead friends, and I would rather fall asleep.
How's everybody doing? This is Uncle Rhino here, sending a big shout out and a bunch of love to the Danaya Azure radio show, to our people over there at the Nexxlegacy platform. We are super excited to be a part of everything that these guys are doing and for them to be a part of everything we're doing. That said, it's time to get everybody to start cruising back over to UncleRhino.com, UncleRhino.com. Start checking out the updates. We are fixing to start with the updates because we are now booking shows that will be going on into 2025, live appearances and performances. And everything that we're doing is to get to you. Everything that we're doing is for you. You are the person in every song that we write. You are the rock star of every show. That being said, check out the online store at the menu there at unclerhino.com. If you will do this, if you show up to any of the live shows with t-shirts, hats, any of the gear from the online store, when you show up at a live show, you will automatically become a VIP member for the night. You will be hanging out with me and the band after the show. So please check out unclerhino.com. As soon as you have a moment, check out the online store. Everything that you do is supporting what we're doing. You are loved and appreciated.
Nexxlegacy.
Are you searching for the perfect gift? Or do you just need a unique statement piece for yourself? Well, either way, Danaya and Azure help you out. What you need is the S for S jewelry collection by Danaya Designs for You. S for S stands for strictly for a stage. Stand out at your next photo or video shoot. Snag that magazine cover. Go from being a part-time extra to an actor or actress who stays booked. Or just be the talk of the town at every event. Danaya Designs for You jewelry is handcrafted and Chicago made for men, women, and children. To start your collection, simply go to www.danayaazure.com. That's www.danayaazure.com. That's www.danayaazure.com.
Nexxlegacy.